today you're going to be learning some Adobe Photoshop. You're going to be learning a specific skill called masking and using the layers in Photoshop to do that masking. And you're going to do that by completing a small project. So basically, you're going to be finding a photo of something that you really like or that energizes you, that kind of explains something about yourself. It could be a photo of landscape, it could be a photo of a city, it could be a photo of, I don't know, something that really just speaks to you. And you're going to use that photo and add in a bunch of descriptive words about yourself, about the photo that really, again, speak to you. So the first thing you need to do is to be able to go into a browser such as Google Chrome, and you're going to go to a website called unsplash.com. All right, so that looks like this, unsplash.com. It's a great website where they have fantastic photos to be used for free. Not all of them are free, but many of them are. You just have to know how to find the free ones or how not to select one that's payable. So you need to find, again, that photo that speaks to you. I really like modern cities and like big cities and visiting cities. So I'm going to type in city, and I'm going to go and find, a picture of a city that really speaks to me. I could look at this one here. I'm going to download it. So in order to download it, I just have to go to this little downward arrow here. But if I just click on the photo, I can see it bigger first. And do I like it? Sure. So I'll go up here and download it for free. And it's going to end up in my downloads folder. So I'm going to hide Chrome, and there's my downloads folder. There's the photo. So I'm going to right click on it to open up in Adobe Photoshop. And it will load up Photoshop, and there's my photo. So what I'm going to be doing is layering these words behind it. So the way I do that is, well, first I have to start adding a word in. So I like modern things, so I'm going to find the text tool over here on the left hand side. But I guess what I should explain first is in Adobe Photoshop, you have on the left hand side all these tools that are at your disposition. And if a tool has these little triangles, that means that you can you can kind of click and hold on to it, and it'll show you other versions of that tool. Sometimes that comes in handy. So those are the tools, and over here on the bottom right are all the layers. Now you'll notice that I have my background, which is the city photo that I've opened, and then I already clicked in the text here, and it just put some placeholder text. So with my T activated for text, I'm going to go over here and type in modern, again, because I like modern cities. So I'm going to highlight that text, and you'll notice that I can already change stuff about the font that I want. Now, you might not have all the same fonts that I have access to, but there's ways to download more. I can also up here on the top change stuff about the text if I don't want to use this. So if I click and drag on this T here, I can drag over and make the text bigger, because you're going to want to choose different words, and so I'm going to be having different text sizes and fonts available to me. I'm going to commit. All right, so now I have my text, and over here on the left I can click on that move tool to now move that where I want. So remember, I said we called this layering and masking. So what this means is I want to move this where I think I can tuck this word in behind some buildings to kind of ground it into the photo. So you'll see right here, if I put it right here, the O is overlapping that building, the D is as well, and over here the R and the N. So I'm going to tuck those in behind the buildings, make it look like the word is a little bit more integrated into the photo. So this is maybe a little complicated, but what you're going to do is over in your layers, you're going to go right down to the bottom, and there's this tool here, it's called layer masks. So I have to make sure that I have that layer of text selected. I'm going to go down to layer masks, and you'll notice right here there's this white rectangle that showed up, and that white rectangle is called the mask. So what you need to understand is that whatever is white is going to show on the top layer. Whatever is black is going to be see-through that top layer to show what's behind. So I need to go over and find the brush tool. So there it is. Okay, so it looks like a paintbrush. If I click on that, make sure I have the brush activated. And I'm going to make sure that my top color here is black. So if I click on that, I can go over here on the color selector and start clicking in the bottom left here and saying OK, because I want the black. Now, you want to find the square brackets. They are above the return key, and if I hit the right one, you'll notice that my brush gets bigger. If I hit the left square bracket, it gets smaller. And now if I hit Command plus to zoom in, I can now start coloring black. Oh, but you see what happened? It made it see-through. And if I were to zoom in here, you can see that I started coloring some black there. All right, so if I go back over here, I can make my brush a little smaller at the left bracket, and I'm going to try to uncover the parts that are supposed to go behind the building. I'll even take care of this D while I'm at it. Okay, so if I zoom back out, Command minus, you'll see that it's tucked behind, but it's not a clean mask just yet, right? So I'm going to go back here, and now remember, black makes it see-through. So if I want to bring back some parts of the letter, I have to go back to my color selector over here and choose white to repaint white. But this time I'm going to paint it on the parts of the letter that got kind of faded out here. So I'm going to zoom in and choose my brush. I'm going to go with a smaller paint brush, and I'm going to color back in white on all this area here around the building. And now the letters are starting to kind of tuck themselves in behind. Now, depending on the photo you choose, some things might be hard to tuck behind, but that's okay. I'm going to move over here. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're just going a little bit quickly. Okay, so now if I had gone too far and made that mistake, I can undo with Command Z, or say the Command Z is not working for me. I can go back here to the color selector, find black, and make this part of my mask see-through again by coloring black over here. So if I Command minus over here, I can now I can see that modern is tucked behind, but I still didn't do the R and the N. So I'm going to go over here. I have my black selected, make my brush a little bit bigger, and start making the parts of the letter here see-through. I can't tell where the building starts, so I'm going to go a little bit higher. Alright, so Command plus to zoom in. I have to change my color to white. Sometimes doing this with a mouse is a little hard, but that's okay. You should take some time. So if I Command minus, I kind of did it, and for the purpose here of demoing this, you'll see that it's okay, right? So so now I would start choosing other words. So going back to my text tool, but this time I might choose a different font. But let me just click here and say maybe I like, city. So I'm gonna highlight that, choose a different font, a different font size. maybe even a different color. Take my move tool on the top left and start moving it to another place where I can tuck it behind another building. How about like that? So over here on my layers, I'm going to go and find, I'm going to make sure that city is now selected. You can tell it's selected because it's lighter gray. Go over here, find the mask tool, click on that. It adds in the mask here on the right. And I'm going to Command plus and shift over here to find where I'm going to draw. I have to find my brush tool, select black, and start coloring in to make the black disappear. So make my brush a little bit bigger there with the Command right back bracket. Knowing those keystrokes are really important. It's actually not too bad there, just as a quick thing. And now city is tucked behind. So that's what you're doing, is you're finding a picture that speaks to you. Maybe you're an adventurous person, so you have a picture that really signifies being adventurous and taking risks and stuff. And then once you have that photo, you're going to find words to add in. So I'm going to say add 5 to 7 words that are descriptive of you and the photo, and start tucking them in behind elements of your photo. All right. When you're done, you're going to go to File. I think you could say File, Save As. No, let's not do that. Let's go File, Export, Export As, and you want to make sure that you are choosing PNG or JPEG, one of those types of files, and hit Export. If you need to come back to this and save your Photoshop file, that's where you're going to use this Save As, to just save a Photoshop file so you can open it up and edit again, which you want to do because you might not be done in one day. In the end, you might end up with something like this. All right, so you can see that I've added in a bunch of words, things that I like about cities. I like the arts, I like skylines and stuff. Again, the word modern. I like the buildings, and you'll notice that I've tucked in parts of these other words so that everything is layered somehow in the design, so that they are grounded. I don't have a floating word that's not somehow grounded behind another one right here, like is another example. Okay, so enjoy. And don't forget to ask questions.